Mommy? What's a cuck? The term cuck is shorthand for the word cuckold, and a cuckold traditionally is the husband of an adulterous wife. In evolutionary biology, the term is also applied to males who are unwittingly investing parental effort in offspring that are not genetically their own. If you've been on Twitter in the last few months, chances are you've come across the term cuck. Its literal meaning references a submissive man sexually cuckolded by a woman. Although cuckold has been used since the 13th century, the word actually derives from cuckoo birds, which lay their eggs in another's nest. And more recently, the term cuck was actually added to Urban Dictionary back in 2007. So there's also an offshoot of the term cuck where it's applied to white couples, white married couples, where the man is the cuck and he enjoys watching his wife have interracial sex with other men. So just a few years ago, the writer of a cuckold fetish movie actually moved into children's television. No surprise with the kind of filth and garbage they feed our children's minds with on all these channels these days. He also had a deleted Facebook post where he wrote, "Hey kids, great news, Nickelodeon's Nick, N-I-C-K logo is changing to Kink, K-I-N-C. Look out for new shows like SpongeBob Latex Pants and Subboy and Dom Dom," which references, of course, dominant sex or sadomasochism. So the writer's name is Jonathan Butler. This is the man that both created the cuckold fetish movie where a white couple with a cuck husband brings a black man into their life so he can watch the black man have sex with his wife. Well, the same creator created Bella and the Bulldogs. So it should come as no surprise that Bella and the Bulldogs' main premise is about a, quote, empowered feminist 13-year-old white girl joining a boys' football team. And of course, both of these white men in this series, surrounded by this, again, quote, feminist 13-year-old girl, are written as cucks, somewhat effeminate, or even weak. So what really inspired me to make this video was I recently saw a commercial for 7-Up, the soft drink 7-Up. And of course the title of it is Mix It Up a Little. And of course I couldn't help but notice the cuck programming. So once again, as we just covered, we literally have the cuck in this commercial. It's a young white couple. The man is sitting on the lap of what looks to be a big tough biker dude, while the girlfriend or the wife is sitting on the lap of a rapper. In this case, it's 2 Chainz. So she's sitting over there flirting with him, obviously, laughing at all of his jokes and just all over the guy. Meanwhile, her husband or boyfriend is sitting on the lap of the big butch biker. The cuck. The feminized, weak-willed white man sitting on the lap of the big butch biker, while his wife or girlfriend is sitting on the lap of a virile, young, strong black man. So I'm not trying to make a racial issue out of this. What's more important to me is what kind of programming they're feeding us, even in your commercials now. I mean, they call it mix it up a little. You get it? Mix it up a little. And this is what they're trying to do to the white man. And the reason I don't see this as so much of a race issue is because they've been doing this to the black men as well for quite a while, emasculating the black male 15 actors who were a dress for success. This article is back in 2013. In the 4 years since, we've seen more and more of these strong black actors in movies and TV shows having to wear the dress. But getting back to the cucks, specifically the cucks in commercials, they're all over the place. I mean, this is an ad for AT&T Fiber, and here we have the cucks. Because now the term cuck has taken on a bit of a new meaning. Now many people are using the term cuck as a way to slam somebody or cut somebody down. It's basically a way of saying that you're weak, you're wimpy, you're effeminate. And considering that definition of a cuck, once again we see them in all kinds of commercials, and TV shows, and movies. So here's another example of a cuck commercial. This one's running right now. Ironically, it came on just a little while ago while I was recording this video. It's for Angel Soft, the toilet paper, and the name of this commercial is Just Dad. But in this commercial, the dad is teaching the daughter how to shave her legs. And he's teaching her by shaving his own legs. Now come on people, some of you are going to think, oh, that's touching, that's really sweet. No, there's a message behind this. And how do I know? Because they're sending it out so often. We see this so many times, time and time again, movies, TV shows, commercials. The effeminized man, the weak man. Here's just another example. This is from Doritos. This came out a few years ago during the Super Bowl. Dad and all of his bros take time out from the Super Bowl to play dress up with the daughter. Cucks. So this is all really a slippery slope. We have the term cuck now. And again, we're seeing cucks represented in a lot of our entertainment. But what started this? Well, this actually started many years ago with the metrosexual movement. And it may have seemed innocent enough to some of you. Even back then when it started up, I was seeing through it. I was not going to be putting on makeup. It seemed innocuous enough to some people. It's just men taking better care of themselves, right? Getting manis and petties. Maybe putting on a little makeup from time to time. Maybe just taking care of their skin here and there. But this is where the slippery slope begins. Like that old analogy about the boiling frog. If you want to boil a frog, you don't toss it into boiling hot water. You put it in lukewarm water, and then as time goes on, you slowly raise the temperature to the point where the frog doesn't even realize he's being cooked. So they start us off a long time ago, pushing this through the media, this idea of the metrosexual. Now we have cucks. We have men in dresses. And this is where we end up. We have a whole generation that's been raised on this idea of the metrosexuals, of the blurring of the lines between genders. Gender fluidity is the popular term now. We see these ideas pushed time and time and time again. They have now successfully perverted and distorted the original idea of being a quote man or being a quote woman. They have blurred the lines. And of course, beyond that, we see where the programming eventually leads us. You have real life effects. This news story right here just came out March 14th of 2017, yesterday. University of Minnesota drops homecoming king and queen and replaces with genderless royals. And this is just one of dozens of stories where the lines have been blurred between a traditional man and a traditional woman. Basically, anything goes. And what we call the homosexual agenda, that's not even the end game. I mean, I believe it's a part of it, but it's going to be all-inclusive with everything. It literally will be the age of anything goes. This is why you see more and more talk of bestiality, cannibalism, pedophilia. All of these things are coming out more and more in the mainstream narrative because this is where the slippery slope eventually leads. This is also why we have so many gay commercials. As you can see right here, I just put that into the Google search engine, and you can scroll down yourself, and you'll see one after the other. But what is the real root of this movement? What is the real root of all of this? Where is all of this really coming from? The world tries to portray everybody involved in this as a victim, specifically with the homosexual movement. The world tells us this is why they promote it so much in movies and television and commercials. They're looking out for the victims. But we know that that's a load of bull. Because all of this can be directly connected to the idea of the New World Order, the One World Order, and the shadow government that runs everything. We can even go back to the mysterious Georgia Guidestones. Many people call this the 10 Commandments of the New World Order. The Georgia Guidestones tells us to maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. These globalists, these so-called elite, the Illuminati if you will, a major part of their agenda is depopulation. And sure, the Georgia Guidestones is one good reference to that, but we can actually look through history and see that this has been happening all along. For instance, the communist purges in Russia conducted by both Lenin and Stalin before, during, and after both World Wars I and II. So there are many pictures you can find, actual photos of Mao Zedong and Joseph Stalin hanging out with each other. We also found some of the global elite involved in this beast system purging China. This was all conducted by Mao Zedong. We also had the mass slaughters in Cambodia by Pol Pot. Once again, we found it during the Bosnia and Yugoslav wars under the moniker of ethnic cleansing. And even right now, currently, we're seeing a mass purging of Christians in Egypt and also parts of the Middle East. And there's also the mass genocides that have been taking place in Africa for many years now. And let's not forget the slaughter of well over 1 million people in Iraq by the United States to take over that nation's oil wells. So now we're beginning to see the connection between homosexuality and this overall agenda of depopulation. Homosexuality is now so heavily promoted by the media and the entertainment industries. And who controls these industries? These are the people at the top of the pyramid, the people who are seeking a new world order. So in essence, these people who simply hate other people, who hate us, have chosen this homosexual narrative, this homosexual agenda, as a less expensive means to reduce the human population.